Hello everybody, Daniel here. The video today for Pokemon of the Week is all about Celebi, number 251. It is currently in the OU tier, although that has not always been the case. When it was first released in Gold, Silver, Crystal, it was originally in the Uber tier, but as competition has become more stiff, it has been moved to OU where it has remained since. Its ability is Natural Cure, and that is a fantastic ability. It means if you get a status effect, and you want to get rid of it, rather than having to have something heal belly or something of that type, aromatherapy, you could just switch out and the status effect disappears, in the same way that confusion disappears for all Pokemon when they switch out. As a grass psychic type, it has a lot of resistances, but even more weaknesses. It has a total of 7 weaknesses, one including bug being a quad weakness. All the rest are just doubles. It has 6 resistances though, and to many good attacking types, so it's not all bad news. Its base stat distribution is completely even, 100 in everything, as a few different Pokemon have. This makes it capable of performing many different sets, and I will go through 4 of them to try and elaborate further on that. I could, in theory, have gone through probably triple that many sets, but we want to be on a quite tight time limit here. The first set is a set that has been around in various forms since Celebi existed. The defensive set on the physical side has been around from the beginning, mainly because it is so effective. Celebi has found it harder and harder to maintain this set's usefulness as generations have passed, but it is still a very capable set to perform what it needs to do. Your attack of choice is either Giga Drain or Grass Knot. Grass Knot does more damage to Pokemon such as Tyranitar in the OU tier, but Giga Drain does have the advantage of healing you, so that one is up in the air as to which one you think is better. It depends on what you need. Hidden Power Fire is incredibly important for you, because if you don't run it, then all sorts of Pokemon completely wall you cold, especially Bug Steel types, which will just laugh at your Grass type stab as it is quad resisted. And Steel types aren't affected by Toxic, so you're in all sorts of problems. So Hidden Power Fire completely removes that issue. Recover is there for the HP recovery. Obviously, it recovers 50% of your health regardless of situation, which makes it a very reliable HP recovery move. And the fourth move depends on what your team needs. If you need to make sure Celebi doesn't die regardless, no matter what the cost, Leech Seed's a very good option. It's also quite good for slowly wearing down Pokemon with huge health stats, of which there are a few in OU. If you need to break stalls, Toxic is a fantastic move, because, only Steel types and other poisons resist it, so, that's quite a versatile move. The other alternative is, say your team has quite a slow sweeper in it. Thunder Wave will make it much easier for that Pokemon to sweep. A Pokemon like Metagross would benefit with great love for a move like that. Hidden Power Fire IVs have been presented there. If you're going for a defensive set, always maximise your HP. The second set is much less common than the first one, but it is still very effective. There are many Pokemon that can run a set similar to this, but the reason that Celebi stands out is because it has Stab Leaf Storm, a base 140 power move. So if you have choice specs on, for example, that is going to dent pretty much anything that doesn't quad resist it, and even a few that do. I mean, even Skarmory on the physically bulky side and Forretress that are physically bulky, even if when they quad resist, will still not fancy switching into it particularly. Your choice item actually dictates entirely what you do with this Pokemon. If you run a Choice Scarf, the idea is to bring it in after one of your Pokemon has fainted and guarantee pretty much a kill on the Pokemon that's out against you, i.e. revenge killing. If you have choice specs, it's a much different plan. Because you'll be considerably slower, the idea is to break down walls rather than to try and sweep on your own. Trick is a fantastic move to have if you're a choice item user, simply because using Trick you can get rid of your choice item and cripple a wall that you're facing. This is especially useful if you have a choice scarf, I would say, because if you have, for example, a choice Bex and you accidentally trick it to something that is a special attacker as it switches in, you're in all sorts of problems. A choice scarf is a much safer choice to trick, but it can have less benefit as well. It's a risk versus reward matter. Earth Power with your choice set is very handy simply because of the huge amount of Pokemon in OU that are now, there are a few dragons that are completely immune to it, and apart from that, there are a lot of steals. So, make great use of that one. It also goes quite well with grass, hitting the electrics. Alternatively, you can go for one of the two hidden powers, or alongside. You can only pick one hidden power at a time, obviously. Hidden Power Ice hits the dragons that I've just mentioned, or you can go for Hidden Power Fire to hit the bug steals and other steel types that roam around the OU tier. Whichever one you pick there, though, is going to mean you're completely stuck against another type. For example, if you pick Hidden Power Ice, a lot of the steels that aren't weak to Earth Power are going to run all over you. Likewise, if you pick Hidden Power Fire, this is a especially big problem. Literally nothing you have will do anything to a dragon flying type, so you better be very careful. But obviously base your move choice around your team needs. Whenever you're going for a choice set, maximize your speed and the attack stat of choice. And I've left the two IVs there for IV sets for you there, depending on the hidden power you want. Red being fire, light blue being ice, obviously. The third set is another set that will attack on the special side, but boosting first rather than using a choice item. The idea here is to use a Nasty Plot and then run from there. Giga Drain is a fantastic move to have alongside Nasty Plot because odds are, once you've used your Nasty Plot, a Pokemon that switches into you will probably be quicker than you, but you're probably going to live it, mainly because of the EV spread I've got there. When you're a Celebi in the Speed 100 tier, there are quite a few Pokemon that even when you maximize your speed will outspeed you. The reason I have put the EV distribution down there below is because it makes it much more conducive to use Baton Pass. Because Celebi inevitably has a problem with at least one set of Pokemon. Because it suffers from 4 move slot syndrome in that you can't run 2 hidden powers simultaneously. Which means one series of Pokemon, whether it be Dragon types, whether it be Steel types, will stop you cold in your tracks. Which is why I've sometimes quite cautiously recommend using Baton Pass with this set so that you can switch your boosts out into something which benefits much more greatly. It is quite rare, though it has to be said, to run Baton Pass, and your choice of item is actually quite an important one because if you decide to run Life Orb, obviously you're giving away what you're doing in that you will come across to other people as being a much more offensive set than you are. If you run Leftovers, combined with Giga Drain, you are going to heal a lot of health back and are more conducive to sweeping on your own. So, whichever you feel is more necessary there is the case. With the EV spread there, you will outspeed every base 100 Pokemon, which, regardless of positive nature or not, so long as they don't put any investment in. Or sometimes people put their casual remaining 6 EVs into speed. So that's why I've put the EVs as such to make sure that you don't have to rely on a speed tie to outspeed. And this fourth set is really a set from a bygone age. Due to Team Preview, leads, inverted commas, don't really exist anymore in DS Wi-Fi. Having come from a Pokemon Battle Revolution background, I've got used to the concept of Team Preview. And people that played through that game sort of made several leads in their team and crowbarred them in. But this is about DS competitive or Pokemon Online or Pokemon Showdown sort of thing. So this is a set that I really see now being used as a pivot rather than a lead in its own right. A team can get an advantage by simply having larger momentum than the opposition team, and the best way to do that is to be able to U-turn out or Volt Switch if you can do that. Obviously Celebi can't do that. U-turning means that you can switch out and send another Pokemon in without having to spend your entire turn switching a Pokemon out to put another one in. And it also means that if something new switches into you, you can run away and then bring out a more appropriate Pokemon. Your choice of moves as such are so that U-turn is not designed to do matters of damage, it's there for momentum purposes. The idea would be to use either Stealth Rock or Leaf Storm, ideally. And then once that has happened, you U-turn out of there before things get ugly. This is not a Pokemon set designed to be there for ages, and you just do what you need to do and then you switch out. The reason I have recommended an expert belt there, which may seem quite weird, is because if you have no opportunity to put up Stealth Rock, you can bluff running a choice set if you go with Leaf Storm or U-turn first. So you need to think that one through. It depends what skill level really you're at when you're battling competitively. If you are very clever, running an expert belt is quite a good idea. If you want to go for safety, Leftovers is a perfectly good choice. I don't recommend using a hidden power on this, hidden power simply because you don't have enough move slots to do so. You could, if you really wanted to, put a hidden power over Stealth Rock, but I would not recommend it, simply because entry hazards are so important, considering so many of the types that Celebi are weak to are also weak to Stealth Rock. For example, fire types, flying types, ice types all take super effective damage in from Stealth Rock, so it's a very smart thing to set up. Anyway, thanks for hearing me out. Hope you have a great time. Peace. If you enjoyed the video you've just seen, please join my Facebook group and follow me on Twitter for the latest news.